Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce webinar series we've titled 15 Minutes. We've got a new look, as you can see from our opening banner there. And we're delighted to bring you a very important topic that will benefit you and your business here in Osceola County. Again, my name is John Newstreet. I'm the president and CEO of your hometown chamber, Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce. We are champions for business and community. And as you can see from the upper corner there, we have a new partner who's a fellow champion in the chamber, the Kissimmee Utility Authority. So we naturally appreciate their partnership and support of our endeavors, and they're great partners to you and your business as we endeavor to make our community better. So we're facing some tough issues here at the pandemic, and I'm sure all of us have some tough choices to make on a regular basis now as we evaluate the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic on us. So we are delighted to be joined today by David Rodriguez. So David has a wealth of experience in the economic development realm, working for Enterprise Florida and St. Cloud, and he currently holds the position of economic developer at Osceola County. So he drives all the economic development, and he's a great partner to the chamber as well as we try to bring good jobs and grow your business together. So David, welcome. And again, keeping with the title of 15 Minutes and our busy audience, we want to get to the meat of this new grant program you have to offer. And then certainly want to encourage folks to be able to work through the live feed here to offer any questions that we can address now. And I want to encourage the audience that this is a quick look at these grants and how you can access them. But I also would offer, if you would like, we can do a deeper dive, maybe in a closed Zoom environment to go through the application or whatnot. So provide that feedback in the Facebook thread comments, and we'll monitor that and see if we can schedule something for you all if you desire that. But for now, we're just going to give you the quick look and encourage you to take advantage of this new grant. It's the best offering I've seen of all grants that have been offered from both the federal government and local level. It's a little bit of money, but it's got some great impact, and they've got a great program for you. So, David, the floor is yours to tell them all about it.
Very good. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, John, and Kissimmee Osceola Chamber for this opportunity to share information about the CARES Act Emergency Economic Relief Grant Program. These are grants for small businesses here in Osceola County. What's important to know about this grant? A couple of things. First, it has a number of levels. There are different levels and different amounts that you can access depending on your type of business, depending on your size. The basic level is for home businesses and businesses with one employee. That first level is $2,500 in grant money. The next level is for businesses from 2 to 25 employees, and that grant is up to $5,000. And then the next tier is for businesses with 26 employees or more, and they can access up to $10,000 in grant. Now, how this grant works, this is a grant based on reimbursement. So eligible expenses is anything from commercial rent, utilities, payroll, investments that the business had to make in order to reopen and operate safely, like purchase of PPE, or barriers or any physical improvements that you had to do in order to operate safely. Those are eligible expenses. So this is how it works. It's based on a reimbursement. So all these expenses that the business had to incur in these categories from February 1st to May 31st, all that is eligible. What the business or the applicant has to do is make sure that they have the invoice and the evidence of payment for this type of eligible expenses, the biggest of which is, of course, lease payments or rent payments. With the evidence of payment and the invoice, they can apply for the grant and get a reimbursement up to that amount. So that's the basic information on the grant. If you could move just one slide forward, those are the eligible expenses. It's based on reimbursement. Keep in mind that it's for expenses incurred from February to May. And again, this is not a loan. This is a grant that you don't have to pay back. Now, important to note on how to access these grants and make sure that your application is processed efficiently. we have a slide that have just a couple of suggestions that are going to help a lot in the process. First, the application. The application, you can find it through we'veopensafely.com. You go to this website, you register your business, and you go to the grant section. You'll find it right there on the homepage. And that will take you to the grant. You can download the application, fill it out. With the application, it is important to fill it out completely. Do not leave anything blank. If there's nothing on that blank, just put NA. Make sure that you fill out the application completely. Second, that you have all your information for the reimbursement. Remember that this is a reimbursement, so you need to have the invoice of the eligible expense and the evidence of payment. That is going to be key. Another thing that's important and is going to help you, read the FAQs. There's a frequently asked questions section in this website. Read through it. Most likely the question that you have in your mind right now has been answered there. So don't spend time emailing back and forth with questions that are already answered there. So go to the FAQ, read it all, fill out your application, make sure that you have all your evidences put together and apply. You have from now to July 27th to apply.
So, David, a couple of quick points, and we'll advance the screen because I know you've got some more information. But I think this is the first loan program I've seen that makes home businesses eligible. So I want to stress that if you're a home-based business, this is your chance to get a little help. And so kudos to the county for including those businesses. There are many of them. We've heard from several that are in the chamber about the excitement that they finally have access to some help. And that the second most important part is this is a reimbursement. So it's not a loan. There's no interest fee. There's no checkup in 6 months. If you fill out the paperwork and the application correct, you're going to be able to be reimbursed, and then the money's yours. It's already qualified and for your use as a reimbursement. So another great aspect of this program for y'all. And I think you mentioned this, but I just want to stress too, as you go on with the presentation, that in order to apply, you have to go to We've Opened Safely, and in order to apply for the grant on that website, you also have to register as a business. So we've got the tagline for the website there below us, and if you want to talk further to that, there was a third screen. I didn't mean to cut you off, but those are key points that I wanted to stress as our viewership is piping in here.
That's good. The small business community in Osceola County is already familiar with the we'veopensafely.com. It's an initiative that started about a month ago. It's a collaboration between the city of Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and Osceola County. And it's a website that had the original purpose of inviting businesses to go to the page, register the business, and read about guidelines and protocols that you can put together to reopen safely. Remember that when we were trying to put together plans to reopen safely and instill confidence in our clients that they can come back and shop at our stores and eat at restaurants safely. Well, we are using that same website to have the application and process all these applications. So now the purpose of the website is not only to register and educate on how to operate safely, but also to provide the grants. And one of the requirements of this grants is you go through this website and register your business. So it's really important, particularly now with all these conversations about this virus coming back and, oh my God, what's going to happen? Just revisit those guidelines. Make sure that your plans are in place. Make sure that all the measures that you can take, that you're following the plan so you can continue instilling confidence in your clients to support your businesses.
We've seen Miami starting to close the restaurants back down, and obviously cases around us are increasing. Our hospitals are still handling capacity. I don't want folks to worry, but we all have to do our part. The businesses have to do their part. That program's outlined very clearly at we'veopensafely.com. The individuals, we as individuals visiting these businesses or leaving our homes have a part to play. I know it seems to be political at times, but if we can rise above the politics, we can get out of this sooner and keep each other safe along the way. So we've got a question in the live thread, David. This grant is also open to nonprofits. Can you clarify that, please?
Yes, it's open to nonprofits as well. So now the grant is more inclusive. It's for for-profit enterprises, for nonprofits, and for home business as well.
So there's really no differentiation for a nonprofit, whether it be a 501c3, a C4, a C6, a C19. All nonprofits, they'll just be classified by their employee size, 1 to 26 plus.
Exactly. Nonprofits are eligible. It all depends on the tier that they will be looking at.
So if you could talk quickly, for businesses who may have gotten PPP, how you structure this so that it wouldn't impact the monies they may have gotten for PPP and how they may be prioritized in this window application.
And thank you for that question. That's really important. For businesses that receive PPP, there are programs out there, certain municipalities and cities and counties that are making a clear distinction between those that receive PPP and those that didn't. And for most programs, recipients of PPP or other assistance are not eligible. On this program, if you receive PPP, you're still eligible to apply and obtain a grant from Osceola County. Now, the question is, if the expenses that you're submitting are payroll and you received PPP, the presumption is that you already covered and financed payroll through the PPP loan that you obtained. So just focus on other expenses that you may have incurred, the rent, utilities, or other operational expenses. Submit those, because otherwise you would have to provide proof that the payroll that you're submitting for this grant was not covered by the PPP. And that is an area that is going to be hard to document. So again, you're eligible to apply for this grant. If you receive PPP, just submit something that is not payroll, because the presumption is that you already dealt with that with the PPP.
So that answers another question that came in. If there's no paid employees, only volunteer employees, you're really looking at a reimbursement. There has to be some expense. So if they're volunteer, it won't qualify. So
Exactly. It's for expenses that have been incurred with the evidence that they were paid.
And there's a time frame that you can go back to, because you don't want to hurt your chances with PPP. Since PPP is a forgivable loan, you've got to go back in a period of time and prove that you used it for its intended purposes. But that's an eight or 10 week period that you're being reimbursed for on PPP. So I think you open the window up to where PPP may start, say in March. You're allowed to go back to February and be reimbursed on expenses. Is that correct?
Exactly. The window for expenses, for eligible expenses, is February 1st to May 31st. So if the PPP was obtained early in the process, and it was only for 2.5 months of payroll protection, so it may have covered February and March, but then you had to pay for your payroll April and May. So you can submit payroll for those months that were not covered by PPP. It's just that you have to document and prove that you did not receive assistance for those.
Can you talk real quick about the application window, when it opens, when it closes, and how they may, how the process will work so they can get their money?
Sure.
And will it be direct deposit, a check?
In terms of timeline, the window to apply for this second version of the program, we had an initial version of this program, but the CARES Act program, the window to apply started June 29th, and it runs through July 27th. So you still have time to put together your paperwork and apply. Now that window closes on July 27th, so we can organize all the data, work on the application packages, and then start approving and issuing checks. And we intend to be doing that the first 2 weeks in August. By August 10th, we should be working on communicating approvals and issuing these checks. But the window to apply is open until July 27th.
Great. So July 27th, a very important date. We'veOpenedSafely.com, a very important website. A lot of good information there to make sure. We're coming up on the 15 minutes. So is there anything, other high points you want to hit, or just reiterate the most important points as they chase this money?
Very important to go to We'veOpenedSafely.com, not only to apply, but also to educate yourself on how to continue operating safely and apply.
And that's, again, whether it's the $2,500, the $5,000, or the $10,000 you qualify, find those reimbursable expenses as quick as you can get there, and make the process even easier for you. So if you've got a $5,000 hit you can put in that they can look at, then that's this is about as easy as it's going to get you some money. And so I'm awful thankful and proud of Osceola County for coming up with this program and helping our businesses out. And we'll be working together to continue to bring you good information and try to keep you successful and operational as we get through this pandemic that has changed our world. So, David, thank you for being our guest today. Again, for our audience, if you have further questions or would like maybe a deeper dive into the application process, put that in the Facebook thread comments. We'll monitor that and schedule that if it looks like there's need. But it's a pretty friendly process. We'veOpenedSafely.com. Get registered with your business. Apply for this loan before this grant, before July 27th. And we'll be back next week with a whole new topic to help your business. David, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.